Why isn't the delete button working? What's going on here? Wow, this is cool. This is
supposed
something
to work
completely.
this way.
Wow, this is crazy.
Oh,
Nice.
Who
This is something
gives
we
a
needed
shit?
for sure. This is unbelievable.
Oh, I see.
You know what? Buck FIM. Hey there, Buck FIM listeners. Thanks again for joining on the line. It's season 2 of our Buck FIM broadcast, and we're kicking it off in high gear with a very, very flexible solution, and that flexible solution is Bravura Design. And with that, we have on our line here, we have Mr. Mike Vetzal of Bravura. Thank you for jumping on. Am I pronouncing that right?
You know what? I think you're the first person in history to actually pronounce that right. So, yes, Dennis, thanks for calling me by the correct name this time.
Awesome. Hey, I did something. so, so Mike, I'm glad you can join on. You know, we really pride ourselves here to bring, all of the different parts of the industry on the call. This is something that has been long overdue for myself and for the industry, and give a nice casual chat vibe to the rest of the audience. So yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
It's a great It's a great podcast, by the way. I've been listening for over a month now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have some listeners involved. So, so Mike, give me some background. Where did you come from? How did you get into the movable partition business?
I lost a bet. No. I started off about 15 years ago. At the time, my now partner, Jeff Payne, he was the president of Lawrence Payne and Associates for years. He was running that with his father. And then sort of his dad was retiring. So we started Bravura about close to 10 years ago. I think it was 8 years ago. Sort of like with the intentions of kind of like revolutionizing the specialty market here in Canada with some great products and outstanding service.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of my history. I'm a computer science background, so it's not architecture, it's not engineering, but it's, I don't know, kind of close, right?
Yeah. Hey, programming. That's all right up my alley.
Exactly. Just don't ask me to do anything right now, because like that's long gone.
Oh yeah, you lose it, right? Yeah. I know. I see my son sitting up there like doing lightweight programming. He's like 5 years old. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be pushing me out of the job force by the time he hits 18. So,
Thank God you have your podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Plan B, baby.
Yeah, a little punk. So, so let me tell me about Bravura. What is it you guys are doing? Like, how do you fit yourselves into a typical design process?
So Bravura, we are an installing distributor of specialty architectural products. We've got two main divisions. We have our daylighting department, where we distribute CowWall, that's the translucent wall and sky roof canopy systems, Solitube, tubular daylighting devices for commercial, industrial, institutional buildings. We also have another couple products, Eurowall, Liebart in that division. And then we sort of have like our interiors division, which is kind of where we started off many, many years ago. We distribute line systems. It's an awesome, cost-effective demountable wall system for offices, modern fold-operable walls, Skyfold, Smoke Guard, Dorma Hupa, PK30, Space. There's a couple other ones in there as well. But kind of what we do is all the products are like the absolute best of the best. And that's kind of what we feel comfortable putting our names next to them. Mm-hmm. So we're not just trying to sell a product. We sort of work with designers and architects to help solve problems. We're here to try to find the right solution, whether or not that's a product that we sell or it's something that we know about that we can direct them to. Even if it's one of our competitors, we do that all the time. Cool. So we're here sort of to work with everyone.
Yeah, you're almost like a quasi procurement manager.
Kind of.
Like just as an added value, an asset. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, yeah.
So whereabouts do you guys jump in? Like, so I mean, as architects, we have a lot of we jump in and out of when these sort of systems are put into play. And as you may have seen with the LinkedIn post that I did up 2 days ago, that one kind of blew up a bit about assemblies and how we treat the systems and what stages they come in. But like, does your team get involved in that early stage design process, or?
That's what we prefer to do. So ideally, we're kind of in there in the beginning. before someone's even drawn a line on their plans. Um, Sort of educate people on the different available options and kind of steer them towards the most cost effective solution. Because again, every single project, especially now, it all comes down to the budget. So many times we see designers and architects just go, hey, their website's awesome. I can just click and drag and drop this and grab this. It's all I need. Then they realize that, they've just drawn a, $200,000 folding partition. And they're like, well, wait a second. And that's kind of where we like to work with everybody right in the beginning, if possible. But again, that's not always possible. A lot of the times you guys will be at like 100% DD drawings, and the client says, "Hey, yeah, you know what? By the way, let's throw a folding wall in right there."
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we jump in at that time. Instead of you guys trying to figure out how to reinvent the wheel, just fire it off to us. We'll drop everything in, fire it back to you, and it's just no more hours out of your day. Because what takes us 2 minutes to do might take an architect or a designer an hour or 2 hours. So it makes a lot more sense just for us to kind of help out as much as we can.
It's so true. And it's kind of interesting as well. And we like when we're in early stage design, we're constantly looking for content to place into a model and stretch and move around, and that's the thing. That's the kicker. Stretch and move around. And it's scary because if you take a look at majority of, let's use Revit as an example.
Yeah.
In Revit, they'll find an object that they like online. They'll put it in, and within that Revit object from the manufacturer, it has rules set into it. And those rules usually fall back to manufacturing constraints. However, the architectural teams will go in and delete all the formulas and then make it so that they can stretch it and move it to the sizes they want. Because it's just like they want to fill a space and see what fits in there. But unfortunately, it's not how the system was designed or manufactured to begin with.
You are absolutely bang on, and we see that all the time. Like our Cowwell product, it's an exterior, cladding material. And again, all of the BIM families that you can just drop into Revit, they all have their certain constraints. But then when people start going in and deciding that they want to see panels that are 3 meters wide by 20 meters long as a single panel, and we go, well, the factory only manufactures just over 5 feet wide. Sorry. So, we do that a lot, though. We've got some really, really great BIM content. We're more than happy to customize any of that stuff, and we do that a lot of the times as well. So I'm sure guys like you, professionals, Dennis Dixons of the world, would not ever consider deleting the parameters inside of a BIM object, right?
No. We get asked to. We still do it anyway, but we just do as we're told. That's
Right?
yeah, no, it's a different one, and usually it comes down to we've manipulated, we've changed it, and then we go and ask for forgiveness from the manufacturers and say, is there any way you can customize this to what we need? And it's a starting point. It is a head scratcher. But I mean, with that being said, that's a big hurdle on its own. But what would you say is the largest hurdles for something, say, like movable partitions?
Largest hurdles. 25, 30 years ago, it's kind of started off. Back in the day, architects, designers, especially here in like the GTA, they would always refer to like movable partitions or moving partitions as like modern folds. Yep. So Modern Fold was kind of like the Kleenex brand of operable partitions.
Gotcha.
They launched the product 1925 World Fair. The company's been around for like 100 years. It's owned by Dormakaba. They're like a $3.5 billion company, so they really put a lot of like R&D and a lot of appreciation into the product itself. So I guess about 25, 30 years ago, the market sort of began to be sort of penetrated with, I guess you could say, like lower value products.
Yep.
So a lot of the clients, like schools and offices, well, they didn't really want to have operable walls in their buildings anymore, just because they've had the lower value products installed last year before, and it's been nothing but nuisances and issues with maintenance and things like that. So our biggest sort of hurdle or challenge, I guess, is kind of like educating designers and architects on the differences between the products.
Oh yeah.
Like the difference between like a modern full panel that's like a welded steel frame with a welded steel face versus an aluminum frame that's pop riveted together, held to, with a couple of sheets of drywall screwed to the face of it. There's a huge difference in quality.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you've got these like 500-pound panels. And our way is to put them on steel trolleys on steel track. It's going to be guaranteed for 10 years versus the aluminum track with plastic wheels.
Yep.
You're kind of like just asking for problems with that. And so our biggest hurdle, our biggest issue over the last couple of decades is sort of educating designers and architects that say, hey, you know what? There is a huge difference. Yes, we might be 1.5 or 2% more expensive, but look what you get.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
So
it was
that's
funny. I was talking to my neighbor across the street, and he wants this. He was showing me a picture of it, and this is the first time I'm seeing this. And I would consider it maybe a movable partition, but more of like a barn door slider. Has like a 6x6 looking kind of like box that sits on the wall or in behind it. I'm not sure exactly how the technology is, but everything's hidden. All the gears, everything was all hidden, and it was this like sleek system. And I couldn't help but think, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be expensive. Yeah.
yeah, and then is it going to work, and how long is it going to work for, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But
Yep. Crazy, but yeah, things are obviously changing. The way that we get our existing condition information has changed. I sit here hugging a Faro machine every day behind me, and the scanning and reality capture divisions have really boomed up big time. So, I mean, how has the as-built information on drawings helped your company? Like, have you seen improvements from reality capture?
um, we haven't been privileged enough to be showing like the as built after everything's done. Um, I really think reality capture is like the way of the future.
Yep.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was very cost prohibitive. But
Yep.
now all you really need is like $1,000 drone from Best Buy
Yeah.
and some really sweet, software like Point Fuse or Recap, and all of a sudden, like you're rolling. So I think over the next like 3 to 5 years, we're going to see a huge increase with like more and more companies. A lot of these smaller firms adapting this technology,
Yeah.
and because it's kind of the way of the future, I think.
Oh, for sure. We're finding it's very very simple to use in a project to even just go in and do 3 or 4 scans of something quick to bring back to deal with a massive issue. Like for instance, like TTC connections where we're getting having to fit an opening in through a connecting corridor to something like that, and they don't have as built information for that that's readily available to you know to position these things.
Exactly.
So yeah, and I mean we're starting more and more. Our projects are being based off of a point cloud to start with. So
Mhm.
again, that begs the question: does I'm assuming, regardless of the drawings, your team is still going on site and doing site verification for other openings and whatnot?
You know what? As much as we would love to trust point cloud and things like that, and to get like a 1 millimeter accuracy, it's just, you know what? It's just not worth it to us right now. We
Yep.
hope that in a couple of years, the technology is going to be there where it can get down to maybe a 2 or 3 millimeter difference, but or discrepancy, I guess. But like
Yep.
right now, we still send our project managers or our construction managers down to the site with a couple of lasers. They'll kind of shoot the dimensions, they'll laser the floor, but doing it that way when we're doing like maybe like one folding partition at an office building downtown Toronto, it's a lot easier because if there's a huge issue with the floor or something else is wrong with it,
Yep.
we can just leave the laser set up, walk over, grab the site super and say, hey, take a look at this, check this out, the floor is really wonky over here, as opposed to us having to bring it back, analyze the data through a software, and then send it off to the project manager, the project coordinator, when it really could be, most of the time, if there ever is an issue, it's a really quick 3 or 4 minute conversation with the site super saying, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this, or we should have you do this, or maybe kind of level that little gap there in the floor, whatever it is. It's a lot easier for what we do anyways. But again, that's with the folding partitions. I mean, with some of our other products like Cowwall, for example, we are utilizing reality capture for a very large glass skylight that's been up for about 20 years or so, 25 years,
Yep.
and the owner's replacing it with Cowwall. And what we're doing with that is we're bringing out a reality capture team just because to site measure up there, we would have to bring in a lot of
Oh yeah.
scaffold. It would be a lot of, it would be a week or two
Oh
with
yeah,
a couple
for
of
sure.
people and measuring tapes and lasers trying to figure everything out and then have to redraw it all. So reality capture is definitely, it certainly has a place, and we're excited to hopefully have that develop into our interiors division in the next 2, 3, 5 years, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely adds the ability to, because we've seen some manufacturers really take it to the next level, which is really cool, and we can talk about that another time for sure, because I'll go on for hours. But the so you did mention like you you have some BIM content. Has have you guys adopted BIM practices in Office?
Um, for for some of our, again, because we are an installing distributor,
Yep,
we rely heavily on our manufacturers most of the time for the
for
shop
sure.
drawings.
Yep,
So a lot of them are still doing shop drawings in AutoCAD.
yep, yep,
Some of them are providing like complete BIM package to just sort of drop right into it.
yep.
We have adopted it as best as we can as a
Sure.
distributor.
Mm-hmm.
But again, since we're not really the ones responsible for doing a lot of these drawings, the times that we are doing them, most of the time it's just in CAD. Unfortunately, it's because we don't have our own like Dennis Dixon on staff.
Yeah, yeah, you got it.
Not yet, anyways.
Yep,
But
yep. It'll get
um,
there.
yeah, that's it. Well, yeah. So you're gonna come work for us?
Yeah. Good luck
Nice.
prying me from WZMH's great big old hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the issue is that we would never get a job from them again, I bet, you know?
Ah, yeah. No, no, we're good here. The podcast is doing great. We're working well. So I know you guys have been obviously leveraging technology. But the products that are being produced, have you seen technology playing a big factor in how their products are coming through?
Yeah, I mean, technology, I mean, again, with my background with computer science and engineering, it's, technology is the actual lifeline of Bravura. And it's kind of, it's really helped us improve our communication um, from step A to step Z. We use a really highly advanced ERP software suite that kind of allows us to automate a lot of the steps in our business process.
Okay.
That way we can sort of ensure that all the delivery dates are all met with ease. Like at any given moment, I can just jump on my computer right now and I can see what the manufacturing queue is over at Modern Fold. I can see that if I release a panel order for production today, that it's going to be on a truck the week not this Friday, but the Friday afterwards,
That's
and it's
really
going to
cool.
show up on the Monday. I've got status on every single project from all my different manufacturers. I know where every single job is from, when it's going to get shipped,
Oh,
when we're going to
geez.
install it.
I
We need to be flexible.
Yeah, yeah, I need that. I need to be I need to be able to have some sort of tracking device like that.
Well,
It's interesting because our team here at WZMH, we do a lot of R&D with sensors and stuff like that, and we've been really promoting having the ability to place sensors at desks and eyesight and stuff like that to be able to track work movement, see if somebody's at their desk so we can give them a call, little shockers to give them a zap if they're falling asleep. I'm just kidding, but yeah, you know what I, you know what I mean? Like it's very interesting to see. It's awesome to see that you guys are taking advantage of that tech.
Just to go back on that, Dennis, if your team actually does develop like a sensor that can zap someone that falls asleep, if you just let me know.
I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, we'll place an order. We'll send you guys a PO right away.
Yeah, yeah. Note to self: talk to Zen. All right, this would be great. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. We've been working a lot with random technologies and miscellaneous outsourced groups with like solar panels and whatnot. It's really cool. Lots of fun. The I've been obsessed with different types of partitioning, like partitioning add-ins to buildings, because it's just so interesting to see how you can enter in and out of a building in so many different ways. It's crazy.
And that's just it. I mean, the kind of the state that we're in right now, even before COVID, the cost of real estate per square foot, it was just absolutely ridiculous to, for a law firm, for example, to take up 4 floors of an
Oh yeah.
office tower and to sort of be stuck with like a set floor plate. We do a lot of things where we have like a folding wall that just opens up once a year for their annual town hall, at least. And that way, they don't need to have a specific town hall meeting room. They can sort of just utilize the spaces that they already have and then save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on wasted space. So, um, as we see things kind of, people are starting to go back to the office. Hopefully, in a couple of weeks, things will start to go back to normal. Again, a lot of people aren't going to go back to work. They're going to be working from home, but they're going to need a lot of flex space if they do come in the office. And that's kind of what we're here to help out with, is that we can kind of provide a lot of great solutions to create a flexible working environment where you might have a team member that's going to show up, once or twice a week. You don't know when. Instead of having a whole bunch of empty cubicles in your office space, what can we do to sort of make better use of the space you're already paying for?
Yeah, oh, that's great. You should start marketing it to couples that have been trapped inside their houses for a long period of time.
You
You
know,
should.
if I'll tell you right now, 20 years ago, if I had looked in a crystal ball and I saw what was going on, I wouldn't have gone into computer engineering. I would have gone into I would have just become like a divorce lawyer, because I swear these guys are gonna make it like bandits in 6 more months.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a foldable partition is just when we get tired of each other, we just cut it right between the man cave and the upstairs. There you go. Done.
Well, see, you're lucky. You've got your man cave there,
I
right?
know, soundproofed too. So I even removed the door handles on the outside just so that the kids can't get in. So no,
Well,
it's
that's just brilliant. I'm gonna do that to my home office. That's awesome.
yeah, it is great. Well, you know what? It's been awesome chatting about this stuff. I'm really interested to see where you guys are gonna go, and I have to do some more research because there's tons of products here that we could benefit from, especially being at an architectural firm. So
Yeah.
if you have any content, if anyone out there, the Buck FIM listeners, are looking for some movable partition ideas, or you guys said you do Solitube as well.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I love their
Solitude
products.
distributor.
They're
Yeah,
great.
that's it. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. So we're the distributor for all of Eastern Canada.
Oh,
Okay,
sweet.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
whatever you need, let me know.
sounds good. Yeah, last time I tried to spec out Solitube, they were all the way from the States, so we had to pay duties and all that stuff to bring them in. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no worries.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, you know what? Thanks again for jumping on the line. To the listeners, make sure to reach out to Mike if you need anything in that regard. It's going to be an awesome world when we start getting manufacturers involved more in early stage processes. And don't be shy to, spec things earlier. Stop changing their stuff when you download their BIM
Please.
models. Ask first. There's a reason for it. And then, yes, thanks again, Mike.
Hey, thanks so much, Dennis.
You know what?
All
Thanks
right.
again, listeners. Take care, everyone, and keep on bimming.